Welcome to my next installment of Noodling Around. This one is for the hamstrings and a little bit of the lateral line of the leg or the IT band. So grab your pool noodle and find your way down onto your seat, placing the noodle behind the backs of your thighs. I would go, let's say, upper, like mid thigh, but a little bit closer towards your butt. Lean your weight back into your hands and start to rock your thighs side to side. So what I like about the noodle is that it's softer than a traditional foam roller. I find that my body responds better to a softer tool rather than just trying to like grind out areas that are tight. Also, they're more affordable. So as you're going side to side, notice like the outer edges, the lateral edges of your legs, the inner edges. And after you spent some time, scooch the noodle down one section and resume. So if you're chronically tight in your back line, I encourage you to give this a try and see how it makes you feel. What I like about it too is like I don't recommend foam rolling the IT band. The IT band runs this long line of the outside of the leg, and um, there's a lot to be said about why you shouldn't foam roll your IT band. But long story short, it's very sensitive and it tends to tighten up more the more you roll it. So leaving it alone or working with a soft enough tool has been, in my experience, the most effective way to give it some love. Now, as you're going through this, if there's any section that needs more time, of course you can spend more time, but I'm going to keep going at a pretty steady clip. So next section, scroll it down, and again, resume. Now, if you wanted more pressure, you could cross one thigh over the other to make that happen. I am pretty sensitive in my right leg. I've been dealing with a lateral knee pain situation that I think is originating from my TFL, which is the part of the muscle that tightens on the tendinous tissue of the iliotibial tract. So for me, adding that extra pressure feels like too much. And then one more section, I guess it really depends on how long your legs are. But this next placement is like almost behind the back of the knee, but not quite. And pretty tender for my body. See what it is for you. But if it's tender, like make the rocks a little bit more gentle. Let your breath slow down. Basically, it's just like a friendly scrub down to the back line of your legs before getting more specific. So because there's so much going on in my thighs, I'm going to probably break this video up into a few different sections. But um, after having spent some time warming up the back of the legs, the hamstrings, now you can try catching more of the lateral line of the leg. So um, roll a little bit to your right, scooch the noodle up again, kind of like where you started, and see how that feels to add some pressure. And if you're sensitive in your outer leg line like I am, you might have to really like lean in and then back way off. So that's what I'm doing. I found a spot that feels manageable, but not overwhelming, and start to connect with breath. Now, it could be that you come down to your forearm if that's more comfortable for your wrist, or get fancy with some more proppage so that you're more supported. And just gentle pressure, checking in with this outer leg line. Also getting sort of like a bonus floor massage for the right outer butt. And it might be as simple as just kind of like leaning in, breathing, hanging out, backing off. In my experience, releasing tension like this is it's more effective to do it in a super chill way without a major agenda about a result at the end. which can be kind of tricky to parse out with the nervous system. If you're feeling up for it, try a different section, scooch it down more like mid thigh. That might be more or less sensitive depending on you. Another option, if you want to be more reclined, is trying out being side lying with your thighs stacked. So the precise angle of your thigh here, I don't think it's super important. I think it's more important that you find what's comfortable for you. But find a sensitive spot, like here, it's for me. And the weight of my top leg makes it more intense. And then breathe into that intensity. Encouraging any like initial hesitation or holding back to soften and mellow out. And another detail I'll include here, try another section, maybe like a little bit closer to the knee, vastus lateralis zone. Find an angle that makes sense. But now bring your attention to your right foot and notice what your habit is. And like when you initially lie down, did your sole of the foot orient towards the ceiling, or are you really actively flexed? And I'm not here to tell you one way is better than the other, but I am here to point out that it's probably worth trying the things that are not your initial tendency, or there might be some information in what it is that you avoid, and spending some time doing the thing that you usually avoid can be incredibly healing and revealing for you. So for example, here I'm flexing my foot and really like trying to push the pinky border edge down into the ground, which feels pretty uncomfortable and not my usual thing. But I think there's something to be learned there. And as I'm feeling things relax and calm down, other options would be to use top foot to push into thigh. Maybe mobilize bottom knee. Maybe try a little bit of rotation, like moving the tibia internally, externally, articulating the foot, all of that good stuff. Perhaps coming up and rolling towards the floor, adding a little bit more overpressure. A couple more breaths. And let's go ahead and check out the other sides. I spent more time on the right because I know that's the side that I need more attention on. But when you're ready, you can come up and maybe do a quick assessment, noticing how your two sides compare. And then placing the noodle more underneath the left thigh, adding a little bit of either rotating kneecap and toes out, so thigh bone rotates out, or maybe leaning a little bit over to the left. And I wouldn't just like lay down right on top of the IT band, but you can kind of like, I think the best word is like flirt with it. Like see if you can just kind of find almost that tender edge and then back off and then spend a little time breathing into what you feel. Noticing what kind of referral pain may be going up and down the leg. Checking out different sections. Giving your nervous system a chance to actually feel the feeling before you get into some intellectual agenda about what it is you're trying to do or achieve. Noticing how the sensation changes on the inhale and the exhale. Perhaps adding side lying and top leg for overpressure. Perhaps extending through the knee, articulating through the foot, or noticing what happens when you're relaxed, but you subtly change the engagement of your foot, what that does for your knee and your hip. And it might be nice to do this type of work for quite a while. I'm trying to keep these videos pretty concise, but hopefully some inspiration for you about what you can do to take care of yourself. Okay, so one more piece in the like lateral line of the leg IT band family would be the tensor fasciae lata, or the TFL. So it's this little tiny muscle here that when it gets tight, it pulls on this lateral line of the leg. So a good way to address that is to come onto your belly with the noodle catching your upper thigh. So like below your pubic bone, on your thigh bone, and you can be propped up on your elbows. You might choose to go more like splat like this. I think I'll stay more up so I can talk to the camera. But now lean to the right and try to find that like coin pocket section of your thigh. And once you have the pressure, just stop and breathe and feel. You can use your upper body for support. You can have your left knee out to help you stabilize. You could also just like get heavy on top of it. Another piece you could add is bending the right knee and toggling through internal and external rotation to change the pressure on the TFL. And on my right side, where all the cranky stuff is going on with the knee, like I feel all kinds of interesting referral sensation through my knee joint, from my hip to my knee to my foot. And you might have your own story here. So if you need to spend 45 minutes here, cool. If you're ready to move on, also cool. You prop yourself up and roll more to your left outer hip, sliding right knee out to the side, and then adding a little bit of movement or pausing and simply experiencing, which in this day and age is not usually that simple. So thank you for joining me for this episode of Noodling Around. If you're interested in more videos from me, you can look around my channel and or come over to my website, julieshoreyoga.com, for over 100 classes to tend to yourself. Thanks for joining.